Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got some interesting mid 2025 polling updates to get to when it comes to the country overall. You can see the party affiliation 2021 versus 2025. This is Pew Research doing an updated poll here in the middle of the year. It's very stark in terms of the difference. It is a very remarkable difference. Plus 10 Democrat in 2021. This would have been the year after Biden won. And now you're seeing the swing 11 total points to a +1 Republican, which you would figure in terms of just overall affiliation based on the parties. This is almost unheard of 4 or 5 years ago, and the swing we've seen. Now, some of it you could say is party momentum, with Republicans winning, with Trump winning all the swing states. A little bit more momentum for Republicans, the exact opposite for the Democrats with the situation. They really don't have a leader right now within their party. The argument would be for Newsom, whether or not you believe Newsom is their actual leader, being the governor of the biggest state, the biggest economy, and kind of really taking over the mantle now, trying to combat and go against MAGA. We'll see. And whether or not people think this matters, with it being an off year in 2025, all of the races this year are heavily localized. It is important in terms of overall shifts because we went through a period of like 2 decades where people said, well, because of the amount of white liberals in the country and the amount of immigrants coming in, it's almost an inevitability for the Democrats to always win the popular vote, always lead in terms of just being the more popular party. That doesn't mean Republicans couldn't win the Electoral College, but in terms of overall popularity, the Democrats are always going to lead because of the influx of immigrants combined with the younger white liberals. What they didn't account for, the ingredient, is the Hispanics and the shift that we've seen with the Hispanics to the Republican Party, voting for Trump. That was the big thing in 2024, and that is also looks like what's driving this. You can see the aged 18 to 29 year. I mean, this is remarkable. Plus 33 in 2021. This is like the Gen Z demographic. I think this is mostly Gen Z. Maybe it's a few younger millennials, but you've got plus 33 Dem in 2021, +6. So that is a major difference. 27-point shift from 2021 to 2025. And at this point in 2025, especially when you're talking about males, the vast majority of young men are Republican. And that was another thing that they would always talk about in the mid 2010s is, oh, all the old people are Republican, the racist old people, they're going to die off. And it's just, that's not where this party is currently. The party's getting a lot younger. And we saw, I think Kamala Harris won boomers by a single point in this recent election. And so, because we're seeing the Republican Party get a lot younger, and especially on the male side, attracting more young people, young men to it. You've got the Gen Z party affiliation by gender. Men are sitting plus 18 for Republican. Women are sitting plus 21 for Democrat. No surprise there in terms of that. And I think that's pretty much all of the polling here when it comes to at least what I was looking at. So the overall point is there is a big shift going on. I know people are also talking about possibly Pennsylvania shifting when you look at the voter registration. Basically, every update, it's been positive for Republicans within the past few years. Maybe Pennsylvania also becoming Republican, the way in which that would shift in terms of the overall math. Remember, back in 2016, even 2020, you go back to 2020, Florida was considered a pure swing state. They were still saying, even with Trump winning Ohio by 8 points in 2016, they were saying Ohio was a swing state. Florida and Ohio at this point are clear Republican, bright red states, plus 10, plus 12, plus 15 Republican states moving forward. Now we'll see what happens in the 2028 election. Maybe it starts shifting back a little bit, but right now they are clearly right-wing states. Imagine you bring in Pennsylvania. What does that do to the overall math? Now you're potentially looking at a lead in terms of the party affiliation. And we saw even the polls leading up to, remember the Gallup Golden poll? They got it right again because they had their final number was like +1 Republican, and Trump won the popular vote by like 1 point. So we're seeing overall more just broad popularity for the right wing in the United States. And as you can see, this is 2018 versus 2025. They had the Democrats sitting +8, now Republicans sitting +1, and an overall shift to the right in basically every single race, demographic. The genders shifting more to the right as well, and even all the education levels shifting to the right. And so it's all shifting to the right now. And you can factor some of that in with the liberal cope. Oh, they don't have a leader. It's an off year. It doesn't matter. Trump just won. So obviously there's going to be more hype for Republicans. But this is something, I mean, even before the 2024 election, we've seen this trend happen to where there is more broad support for Republicans. The Hispanics support Republicans more. I mean, you're seeing it with the immigration. People thought with the amount of white liberals there are now in the country and the demographics shifts, there's no way we're going to see Republicans win the popular vote again. It ends up happening. You can say, well, Kamala Harris was a very weak candidate. Well, you look at 2028. I mean, it's very early. I do think someone's probably going to step up for the Democrats, but it seems like there's a lot of flawed choices, no matter who you end up picking there. And right now, I would say Newsom is the favorite. There was also something interesting, if you want to talk about 2028, with Marco Rubio doing an interview. I believe it was with Fox News, where they asked Rubio and they said, what do you think about 2028? People are talking about you. And people have brought up Rubio in the context of him being the VP to Vance and also possibly running. Rubio ran in 2016 against Trump when he was a lot younger. And Rubio basically said, no, I think it should be Vance. And so the thought is, well, will the Republicans decide to do a Vance-Rubio ticket? Because Rubio is known as a kind of a do-it-all within this administration. Would the Republicans want to go with that? Would they try and balance it better, maybe with a Vance-Tulsi ticket? Would Tulsi be open to that? I mean, there's some different things they can try, but I think the power ticket right now for Republicans would be Vance-Tulsi. Some people are against Vance, but when you look at where he's at right now as VP, with the notoriety that he has, his debate performance, I mean, you can't just base it off a single debate, but he's a very good talker. He's eloquent, he's articulate, and I think he would do very well. The question is, will Vance, Trump would very likely be campaigning for him, but will Vance bring out the low propensity voters that Trump could bring out? That's where it becomes a little bit of an issue. But would Vance also possibly have maybe some more appeal to college-educated voters than Trump? Will that make up for it? I mean, there's a number of things to talk about, but when you look at this, I mean, it is a big shift to the right, and it's really not surprising. Now you've got Cincinnati police chief coming out and saying that the media has made this story in Cincinnati where the white people were viciously attacked by like 3 or 4 black people. Now she's saying, oh, this is bad. You shouldn't do that. It's your fault. You're the reason. Basically, anytime you share a video of black on white violence, according to this woman, you can't do that because it's racist. It's right. People are just done with it. We're not. But let's watch some of what she says here.
Another topic I want to cover real quick. Social media and journalism and the role it plays in this incident. And yes, guys, that's you. That is you. Social media, the post that we've seen, does not depict the entire incident. That is one version of what occurred.
One version, it was 4 black guys ganging up on a white dude, and then a white lady came in to help and pushed the black dude off, and then she got knocked out by a Mexican. That's what happened. Oh, but it was an argument. And see, this is the thing, and that people were asking me about this last night, this whole idea of, oh, but what happened before? Well, when we've seen a lot of situations like this, and 9 times out of 10, the so-called argument, or what justified this dude getting brutally beaten, normally there's nothing really to it. Normally it's verbiage exchanged, and if you think that's the justification for this, you shouldn't really live in a society that we want to create. Because if you think mobbing someone and assaulting them and kicking them in the head is an adequate response to some type of verbal altercation or a push or something, it's ridiculous. And the fact that this lady is in law enforcement saying this, there needs to be zero appetite for this anymore. But this is a liberal city, Cincinnati, and this is 2020 rhetoric. We're done with this. We're not dealing with this anymore. This is boomer 20. This type of viewpoint, we've been past this. The Americans have been past this. We're not interested in seeing this anymore. We're not interested in being schooled on how if you share this video, you're a racist because we shared a video. Oh, but the white guy said a bad word, so he deserves to be brutally beaten. We're done with this. We're done with it.
At times, social media and mainstream media and their comment.
You want to know the funny thing too? It's like Musk has finally opened up X, because there's no way this lady would be saying this without this spreading on X and people being outraged by it. Imagine if Musk didn't control X. She'd probably love that, because everything would be censored and nobody would be allowed to say anything about any type of violence in the country.
Commentaries are a misrepresentation of the circumstances surrounding any given event. What that does, that causes us some difficulties in thoroughly investigating the activity and enforcing the law. Because what happens, that social media post and your coverage of it distorts the content of what actually happened.
Do we make up AI videos of the white people getting beat up? Those must be AI videos. You're right. No. He said a bad word. He deserved it. Yeah.
And it makes our job more difficult. Go ahead, right here.
Thank you. 2 questions. Where were the nearest officers?
In the central business section. They were working. They were both in vehicles, and like I said, they had to maneuver through the traffic.
My second question is, you had said social media, news media distorted the content of what actually happened. What exactly was distorted? I understand that there was multiple views of the video, but exactly what led up to this? I mean, what was distorted?
Yeah, so I think by the irresponsibility with social media is it.
So nothing was distorted at all, is what you're saying. See how they try and ask her a direct question, and then it's the counter. Oh, so what's distorted? Oh, they're irresponsible for sharing it, for calling our police department bad. That's what they're irresponsible
It just shows one side of the equation.
It shows the altercation. All right, would you want to share with us what happened beforehand? I mean, I think that's what the lady was trying to. You want to share with it beforehand?
Quite frequently, without context, without factual context, and then people run with that, and then it grows.
Right, and lady. She's asking you, explain what happened beforehand. She's not telling you to say the exact same thing you just said. I can't do it with these people, man. Rubio called J.D. Vance one of his closest friends in politics and suggested him as a... Yeah, so I remember I talked about that. Look at this. Hispanics have shifted 20 points to the Republican Party in the last 7 years. Blacks have shifted 24. Well, with the amount of Hispanics in the United States, that's a huge impact, shifting 20 points. But this is something they didn't see with the different demographics, with the minorities shifting to the right. That's certainly something, especially at that rate. That's certainly something they did not expect to see. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you like the video down below. Also follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.